Live. Good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's 9 p.m. UK time. I'm aware the clocks are still wonky in North America. They're still wrong in North America. They're less wrong than usual because you are an hour closer to us, I believe. But it's time for some midweek geek. We've come into tonight's stream without a specific topic. We're going to talk shit. We've already been talking shit while waiting for 9 o'clock to turn up, arguing about what is and isn't goth.
You are not goth.
I'm not anymore. I'm far too old. But I'm on about the genre. I was on about the genre of music.
Sure.
And as we Brits invented it, I think we do have a right.
And there's the mistake. I wasn't arguing about the genre of music. I was arguing about the subculture.
I couldn't give a rat's ass about the subculture. It's the music I like.
Well, there you go.
There we are. Anyhow, Mercurius is on the donation train already. Look at this. Look at this. He's already given a membership with his ear trumpets in. Look at this. Ear trumpets in. So thank you, Mercurius. Let's say hello to people in chat. We've got Bane, who's looking in on Bear's stream. We've got Halakar.
Bane, what are you doing here?
We've got Straw Piglet, we've got Mr. Baker, there's Mercurius, there's Iman saying hello to people as well. So, Mondo is all in favour of talking shit.
Yes, Mondo.
What pretty much got us onto this topic?
Shit before we went live, weren't we?
What pretty much got us onto this topic is the fact we have two people on stream who are proudly displaying music T-shirts. Bear with a bit of Led Zeppelin. And Iman with some Pink Floyd. Though Iman has already admitted that he hasn't listened to Pink Floyd for a long time because he had a bad experience.
Yeah, probably best not to talk about it on stream.
Speaking of bad experiences, here is the definition of bad experience. It's Daniel.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, he's silent. He's silent.
Oh.
Right. So gaming in the last couple of weeks. I didn't stream last week, did I? Because my wife was feeling poorly. She is better now. Thank you for the various people who sent good wishes. It's rare that she has time off work, but she ended up having some time off work. Didn't want to cough all over the children. So yes, Straw Piglet asked Iman, were you uncomfortably numb when you were listening to it?
Oh, get the fuck out. Oh.
Actually, I was the opposite of numb. I felt everything really intensely.
So, you're double watching. Troll Lord Games is having a big unboxing. What are they taking out of their big box?
Something Gary Gygax related.
Yeah, the Castle of Susek.
You know, the high priors of Gygax are unearthing a tomb or something, you know.
Hello, not your echo. Real English people say hello, governor, when they greet everyone. Real English people. Well, that's London.
Am I on reverb? Is my mic reverbing?
No, you're fine.
What sound effects are you talking about, Mondo?
Oh, it just did it then.
Oh,
yeah. Messed with it.
Oh, sorry.
But Londoners say hello, governor. I don't think we say it anywhere around here. And we say, right, mate.
Londoners say it. Maybe like, the Cockney people would, but I'm not sure general London don't say that.
South Londoners.
Who's hitting a bong? Well, it would be me, but it ain't me, so.
Anyhow, games since we last convened. We had quite a big game on Saturday, didn't we, chaps?
Yes, we did.
It was rather good.
Very juicy.
It was very juicy indeed, and there were some story arcs that took a bit of a turn, bit of a twist.
I warned you.
Well, I'm perfectly happy with that. That's the sort of thing I needed to get De Vere to wake up, and get him out of his comfort zone. So that's what was needed. That was needed, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. You will be seeing a different De Vere now. He will still have a few awkward moments, but he's got himself a bit of a calling that's slightly different to his previous one. I'm quite happy with that. Any other games then? Bear, you start us off then.
Yeah, lots of games.
Go on then, tell us about them.
Well, there was the Codex Albana game, which went interestingly and was fun. Maybe the last one we ever play. Who knows? Hopefully it won't be, but we'll see. Because, adults are difficult to schedule, which sucks.
I thought we'd scheduled for the beginning of May.
No, now we're having trouble with April because of things. We got to figure it out, right? And it's lockdown April, so we got to get that locked down. And I'm tired of doing this dance every month, of fighting with everybody for when we can do it. Like, Jesus Christ, it's once a month. You know this. You know this in advance, So that's exhausting. I started 2 new heroic campaigns, a Monday night campaign and a Friday night campaign. The first Friday game was very good, very fun. But I think the Monday night one really was spectacular. I think it really, really was a good time. But I would much rather let this guy talk about those games because he sells them better than me, because you all know I hate pimping my own shit.
Before he starts, though, Straw Piglet has got a bit of a quandary. If you cut a troll into 4 parts, will they make 4 trolls? I'm going to say no. The 4 parts will attempt to rejoin to reform as 1 troll.
But the biggest part will be the dominant one and grow up to become the regenerated troll. And I'll just eat the remainder.
They'll. If you take a daddy troll and a mommy troll, they like each other very much. They might make 4 trolls.
I need an adult.
Wrong stream.
Oh, there he is.
Hello, Dan. Go on then, Saxius. Pimp these games.
Sure. So the Guardians, or the setup for this new heroic, really well. It's world class, which means that we are looking at, it's not mid-level. It is not, heroes within a single city or within a single street. No, this is full-fledged heroes that are protecting the globe, the country, and it shows. For those who have been in Bear's Discord, we got to catch a glimpse of the character sheets, and they are kicking ass, to put it quite mildly. The players interacted fantastically. Everyone hit the ground running. There was great chemistry. It was a very good setup. It was easy enough. It was the evil faction from the period of 1939 to 1945 in Central Europe.
The unnamed German enthusiasts, the unnamed German travel enthusiasts, circa 38 to 45.
Exactly. Well, we are on John's stream, so I will try not to get him struck down.
Bunch of Yahtzees there. We'll make it Yahtzees. There was a bunch of Yahtzees.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, if I can't say a certain card or English wording, then I'm not going to tempt fate.
Right, fair enough.
Anyway, so that was the antagonist with very creative major enemies amongst them. It was great to see, again, villains that would otherwise have been notable combatants for a mid-level campaign. You're now seeing them as being like, that is Whiff-Off. Those are, the mooks. They're the goons. They're the bees that you just swap aside. The real hornets are the ones that's got names and powers. So that was really good. You got to see what a proper hero, when fully kitted on, what they can do. So I would strongly recommend that everyone goes and catch up with that. Very much so, because it is showing how you can run heroic on a much higher scale, and with the right form of energy and the right form of enthusiasm that you can get from a team. It really pulls it all in, with everyone, pulling not only their own weight, but then adding in to then create the momentum. I think that is a decent summary without spoiling too much.
No, it's pretty good. I like that one. That was really well done. And there was another game I played in, but I'm not going to say anything about it because I ran because Daniel was in it, so we'll let him talk about it when we get to him.
Oh, okay. Iman, talk about some of your games.
Yes, so Codex Albana on Saturday. I feel like it was a pivotal session, definitely for Devere and possibly even for me, because I died and came back to life. I'm no longer a knight. I'm no longer even a prince. I am the first paladin. So that'll be an interesting story arc for me. Looking forward to the next session. It was really fun.
Yes.
And then yesterday we played Call of Cthulhu. We were playing in Reign of Terror, 1789, French Revolution? Question mark. Yep.
The lead up to it, yeah.
Yes. So we all, apart from Joker, did our outrageous French accents.
Yes.
So that was quite
apologize
cathartic.
to anyone who has any love of the French language. We absolutely butchered it. But
I'm just trying to imagine Joker. From Marseille. What? No, you're not.
Yeah, I even made a joke, sort of like in character, sort of out of character, like, why is this the only person who sounds English?
Yes.
But yeah, that was quite fun, and it felt like a good point to stop that session as well.
Yeah. We will resume next week. They've had a few odd encounters. One particularly disturbing one.
Yeah, a whole family of 4 being strung up by their feet and their blood drained out of their necks.
Nice.
Always fun.
It's the French Revolution. Like, I'm sorry, what did you expect?
Cake.
They shall eat cake.
You there, cake or death. But yeah, so that was that. And then what we doing this Friday, by the way?
Oh, I've
What,
got to
me?
decide. I've got to decide, haven't I?
Hmm.
I've got to decide. You're playing
Heroic. That's right.
Yeah.
You're going up against the 7 for Satan.
Yeah.
You guys didn't play last week, eh?
No.
No, he was helping you with something, I believe.
No, I was.
Or was it you talking with drive-through or something?
Yeah, well, I put aside the entire day for that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm impressed because it was like a 5-minute conversation.
I know, that's the funniest thing. I was like, okay, well, I've already done this. Might as well play around with this a bit more.
So the week before that as well, we did the one-shot vigilante thing, which was great fun.
That was fun. It's not the way Heroic's meant to be, but it's the way it's going to be when we go to Queen City.
Solid Snake and Sam Fisher just going around fucking shit up.
Yeah. No, that is going to be Queen City summed up. You guys are going to be doing some horrible things. And
well, I believe it was either you or Bear that described it as the heroic or the Zenith Universe version of Gotham.
Yeah.
yeah, that's Queen City.
So I went with that.
Yeah, but we were not playing in Queen City. We were in Capital City. You guys just decided you had no restraints.
Yeah. We just went, yep, vigilante. We're off the hook. Let's go.
But you're not off the hook.
No.
You have to create a vigilante code.
We were following our codes.
Did your codes clarify whether you can kill or not?
No.
Then you're villains.
No. It's a one shot.
Just saying, you bunch of dirty, filthy villains.
Oh god, yeah.
No.
Hello to those who've joined chat recently. Straw Piglet is trolling us very much with trolls. Would sunburn stop troll regeneration? It depends on the strength of the sunburn. Building. Don't know. What have you been smoking, Straw Piglet?
You've been dipping into my stash.
Yeah. Hello. I'm going to say hello to Squirrel Hermit. Thank you, Squirrel Hermit.
Come on.
Much appreciated for your generosity. He knows what.
Come
on.
Hey, Squirrel. Are you on the list, John, for Squirrel?
Mm-hmm.
Are you on the list of Squirrel? Yeah, me too. He's an insanely generous human being.
He is way too generous.
Ah,
Yes.
there's Dan.
That's a claw in my chest, buddy. Thank you.
Hello, RPG Gen Exile. Andy's mentioned, yes, you forgot that the blood of those that drained from those people was then used in a printing press.
Oh, I didn't forget. I just neglected to mention it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes. Hello, Christopher. And there's Coco B, summoned by the Aussie formerly known as Mercurius. So you got the membership. Good. I like it when the memberships go to familiar names. It just sort of prods them and reminds them that we're here. So my game. Oh, Daniel,
listen to Dan. Yes, there we go.
Yeah, Daniel, you played in one of Bear's games, didn't you?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Did it take you 10 seconds to remember?
No, I was busy dealing with my cat. Anyhow, what's up?
Tell us about Bear's game. What happened?
What was it? Goblin Gully?
Oh my lords. All I know is I had a really good time. I can't remember what happened yesterday, let alone last week, but I am proud to say I got MVP and the bartender likes me.
Hey,
Yes.
congrats.
I did
That's
not
a win-win
piss off
for you.
the bartender.
He was the only character who hasn't been acting like they're level 10 when they're level 1 to a bartender that is a retired adventurer who in like Pathfinder lore I think is like level 20 or something. And they're just all beating and crowing and being all big boys. And he's just being gruff and surly, the dwarf, and it worked out really well for him.
I did threaten to kill a party member.
Fred, you almost took a swing.
I
That was
tried.
funny. That was good character play.
I tried.
And you stayed back to actually clean up after everyone else.
Yeah, I did. That's right. Yeah, I even offered to grab a mop.
They're faffing about town as opposed to getting their asses back out to the adventure.
Just do what my DM did when I was in the Sandpoint. Just have the goblins attack the town.
Oh,
No, that's not in the. I'm basing it off the Pathfinder module that my DM took me through.
stop talking.
Okay, fine. I'll shut up.
Oh, now we know what's going to
Away
happen.
his plan.
I would remind you that thanks to Janet and there's a troll amongst those goblins.
What did they donate and then it got put in there? Or
Janet kept saying trolls instead of goblins, like repeatedly, and then finally Nerd just typed, "If Janet says troll one more time, I'm donating $25 to add a troll to this fight."
Oh, yeah, that was another thing that happened. It was kind of ironic that Bear gave my character the job of cleaning whenever I clean shitters for a living. I'm like, okay, I have to run a mop for 5 hours a day, and now my player character has to run a mop.
Sometimes art imitates life, buddy.
Yep.
And sometimes my cat is very pokeable. What's wrong with you? Why are you so quiet?
So Halakar is dreaming of expensive.
There you go.
RPG. How much does it all cost, Halakar, for all that stuff in that box? I mean, I'm guessing Powerball is a lottery where you can win lots of money.
Sounds like it.
Yes,
Yeah, Powerball, yeah.
Isn't that what we call the last ball in the lineup or whatever?
Well, it's years since I've had any interest in our national lottery. Ever since it became £2 a go, I stopped. Tight ass. So, I think my wife still has a go, but we don't win.
All I know is me and the lottery are about the same age, like maybe a few weeks.
1994.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember it all starting. I was in the pub everyone was excited for the first because we all thought we were going to be millionaires. And then we realised no, it's a pile of shit.
Never tried, never bothered.
As one of my teachers taught me in college. He said the lottery is a voluntary tax on the stupid, and trying to get rich by playing the lotto is like trying to self-exit by taking commercial airline flights. It could happen. Odds aren't good.
A good friend of mine always posts his scratch-off tickets when he wins, and just to keep him in his place, he'll be like, "Oh, I did good. I hit $250, $400, $500." I'm like, "Okay, how many hundreds did you spend to win that $400?" He never answers back.
Of course he doesn't. Of course he doesn't. That's that is the problem. They're not going to do a lottery where they lose out.
Well, yeah, exactly. Oh, I won 400, but you spent 800 in the meantime.
Yeah. Not my thing. Not my thing.
Never mind either. So yeah.
So yeah, I ran Call of Cthulhu last night. We finished live play of Call of Cthulhu last Friday. It's quite a good ending. Literally, the last bullet, the last character who could who could get a result against the enemy with his last bullet scored a critical hit, and he could only get the win in the scenario by getting a critical hit because of the armor levels of the creature, and he did so just as he was knocked out. So
he literally got his last shot off and got bonked on the head.
Yes. The person they were trying to help sadly died, and the scenario ended with Daniel's character having fled involuntary. Daniel didn't choose to flee. It was a reaction.
It was elbows and assholes.
It was a temporary insanity.
A temporary insanity reaction. Yep. Joker's character was hiding in the linen closet. Andy's character was unconscious, and Sorian's character was unconscious.
Well, Joker's character wasn't so much hiding as he got tangled up in a bunch of linen and just decided, well, I'm fine, fuck it, I'm staying here.
Well, he got he basically had a severe case of amnesia, and ran straight into a linen closet and got tangled up and decided to stay there because he couldn't remember why he was there or anything. He was just screwed. But no, they won with that last shot, with Nosorian rolling a critical hit and rolling good damage just before he was knocked out, which was good.
But some of the clues or the solutions in that adventure were so obtuse.
Yes, it was a difficult one to solve. So thank you, Daniel. Daniel spotted that. Who got the 5? Anybody know? And also Squirrel Hermit. There's Squirrel Hermit as well. So who were the 5?
I'd have to go back and look.
Sorry, my hands are occupied.
Thraxus, Nazar's Nab, Ironcaster, Sean Vera, and Shinito Ketchup.
I think I know 2 of those names.
Yeah.
Ironcaster, I think I recognize.
Yeah. I recognize Ironcaster and Thruxus.
Yeah.
Right, so this is a bullshit stream tonight. Has anybody got anything that they specifically like to bullshit? There we go. The topic is felines in role-playing games.
Flying felines.
Best role-playing game cat encounter.
Ooh.
I once ran into this cougar. Oh, wait, no, that wasn't role playing.
Appropriate.
Different type of role-playing.
Maybe it was.
Straw Piglet wants us to talk about trolls. I come back to the point where if the troll has been divided into a number of parts. Those parts will try to rejoin. A new bits will only sprout if bits have been destroyed. Otherwise,
Right.
the parts will attempt to rejoin.
I think Halakar, it might have been Halakar further up. Yeah, Halakar said that the head can grow a new body, but nothing else can recreate the head.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Do all good GMs have cats? Saxus, have you got a cat?
Nope.
No.
Well, then yes, all good GMs have cats. Ta-da!
I haven't got a cat.
Evil GMs have no cats.
I have nothing to count that.
But chaotic GMs, nope, sorry, this one here, have more than one cat. How many cats you got, Daniel?
I had two until one got out and she never came back. But right now I
Can you
only
blame
have
her?
one, but he's a big enough of an asshole that he counts as three.
Oh, fair enough. I thought you had more. Sorry.
No, I have a dog. I have a big dog and a cat.
110-pound dog and a 10-pound cat, and the dog is scared of the cat.
Correct. Yeah.
We have a little dog in this house, little spaniel. Iman, you met her.
Oh, she's lovely.
Very friendly, very waggy, very quiet.
Yeah,
Mm.
considering she's a spaniel, she's quite
There he
quiet.
is.
She's nearly she'll be 13 in a few months.
Wow.
So she's an old girl now. Can a troll build a castle? No, he can't because the bones will be.
Okay, seriously, are we just doing troll questions all night?
No, that's just straw piglet.
That's just straw piglet. That's just straw piglet. Bears off. Right. So, what topics? Chat. Give us a question that's not to do with cats and not to do with trolls.
How about mother-in-laws? Well, no, that counts as a troll.
Yes, squirrel hermit. Cats won't snitch you out.
Cats are the villains. That's the thing.
Depends on your
Okay.
perspective.
Cats are counting evil.
Are they?
Dogs are lawful good.
Are they?
Absolutely.
I've met some dogs that are anything.
I was
but
going to say huskies. That is absolute pure chaos.
My dog is lawful stupid.
That's lawful good.
But
When will be the return of the mightiest weapon in my game? The pen is. Probably
that wasn't
Christmas.
even in John's game. It was in a choose your own adventure book.
It was a choose your own adventure book. Yes, that'll be Christmas when when I've got a Kickstarter at the moment for the Cthulhu meets Shakespeare choose your own adventure book that
That'd be fun.
that guy's written. So whenever that comes in, I will run that on a Friday. So I've got to actually. We've got to decide what we've got to do this Friday. Would
See, I'm
everybody-
Gen X. Every time you guys do that, every fucking time you go, oh, we're going to do it on Friday, my immediate knee-jerk response is to go, you mother. Because that's Gen X. I don't know if you ever saw that great Twitter gag where it said it was someone's, Gen X is trending on Twitter. And then there's a picture of Bender from Breakfast Club. And it says, Gen X, your mother's trending. Like that. I don't know if in the UK you guys did that, but in the real world, that was our big thing. Like someone said something like that, you go, your mother, and just wait to see what their reaction would be. So every time you guys have been, what are we doing on Friday? My mouth has wanted to say that, and I've stopped myself because while you're Gen X, and I assume Gen X, if not Boomer.
Yeah. No, he's John.
Millennial, and they scare me. These millennials.
What do you mean? I'm a millennial. He scares me.
Okay,
good.
let's just say Denmark lost a serial killer and England inherited one. That's how that worked out.
You gained efficiency instead.
Straw Piglet is what have you been smoking, Straw Piglet? Could you make a hoverboard from Beholder Brain? I would say it's one of the components, yes.
No,
if you
the
want to-
flump.
Every time you answer him, you encourage him to do more.
Yeah, but you know you would be using the flump for this. You just use the tentacles to sort of like go steering it.
Straw Piglet,
Another
keep that
growl.
brain for Sunday.
Why not?
Sorry?
A growl?
Well, what, a grill? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, why not a growl? They've got tentacles, big brains, they float.
Yeah, but the problem is that with the tentacles, they can give you, what's it called again? They do paralysis. A flump doesn't. Although it would be really nice if you can get the grill, because then you get, like between 8 to 10 attacks. You can arm them. Oh, you're onto something here.
Holy shit.
And don't forget the beak.
Oh yeah, you've got the beak as well. It's just a stun attack. It's like the ghouls coming back again, except now with the growls. I love the growls. You just treat them like cockroaches. It's an absolute hive mind, and they will then mass produce, and they just need food. It just becomes like a.
Iman needs to see a picture of a Grell.
Now,
I think I know what it looks like.
It's a floating brain with a.
Is it the thing with the beak?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
one.
Don't spoil my fun.
I will
You
spoil
already
your fun.
showed me. That's the only reason I know.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
but
one.
they float and you don't see them, and because they don't need eyes, they're brilliant because you then walk into a pitch black environment. But you always look left, you always look right, you always look down the corridors, but you never look up. And that's just because it's just raise the roof like up to 15 feet, and then they just float down, and go scribble, 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 scribble. We're not going to take you and float away.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
They're fun to use. Play
I
a
ran Hankering for a Nail, Runehammer's, the Moloch series of adventures, right? Prisoners of Moloch and all this kind of stuff. And it's a great little series of adventures he laid out for you. And the idea is that you're going up against this evil wizard called Moloch. And I decided instead to make Moloch a sentient Grell who had become a sorcerer and was like a third or fourth level sorcerer, and had been like, what do I do? So he illusioned himself, phantasmal force to make himself look human, but he was a Grell. He was just trying to figure out his place in the universe and figured evil was the way to go, It was a lot of fun when they fought him in the end. They pushed him off a cliff, like, the fighter, did his battle master shove and knocked him off a cliff, and he's like, I got him, and he just floats up. What's going on? What? So much fun.
The spell is magic. It's like there's nothing magical about it. It's innate.
It's innate. Yeah, Halikar, we still have Prel in Canada and Pert. They're also in England. I think they were issued under the. I don't know if they put them in England, but I remember the bottles had the royal seal on them. There, as they were granted their right to do business by the crown.
I'm just flagging up a few questions because people are asking questions. So Sven Filker has a sensible question.
I thought so too.
What real-world persons have you based a character or NPC on that worked well?
I try not to do this because I think it's petty to take people you dislike. I'm not saying that's the only option, but to take people you dislike and make them characters in a game or in a story, because it's just petty, right? Instead, take aspects of them and fuse them with aspects of other people you don't like and make them into characters in your story. And that way you get more mileage, more impact for your efforts. But I would need clarification on real world persons. You mean celebrities, historical figures, or, Gus the shopkeeper? You know what I mean?
Basil Fawlty, John Cleese.
It's not a real world person. It's a character from Fawlty Towers.
But he's a real world character. He's a real. I think that's what he means.
Actually, no, that is an important distinction, to be fair.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I mean, I have openly said that I based De Vere on my image of a real life Christian crusader.
I was going to say, John, in Yule, a lot of the NPCs are based off people in the server.
Yes. My entire OSE world has most of the NPCs in that game based on regulars on the stream and people in the server.
What the hell was I?
Is he in there?
You came into the server after I'd originally made the world.
Yes.
I would add you in as a barbarian type.
He added me in as a bard who just sits in an igloo just outside of Yule, who just sits there smoking on his pipe weed all day.
Yes.
I remember that one. Yeah.
That's about right, though.
And Saxius is the town taxman.
And that's where Saxius the Taxius came from.
That came
He's a
before that.
taxman.
Well, no, that's where I coined the moniker.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anybody based, so that's cool.
There was a hireling based on you. He survived half an adventure.
Half.
That sounds about right.
They hired him and he died.
He's probably frickin' drunk.
so yeah. But yeah, I do. I do it for a bit of fun. If I'm being a bit, if you think about it, a lot of when you create a character, you are dredging up your own experiences, your own inspirations when you create a character. So you're probably unwittingly basing a lot of characters and NPCs on real people or characters in films, TV shows, what have you, without even knowing it. But I do it knowingly. I admit that.
They met on Friday night. They got to meet a character from the Zenith universe called the Wiccan, and she's visually kind of a cross between Chrissy Hind and the Thin White Duke, right? Like she's a tall, willowy, bushy hair, that sort of look. But when she talks, and we'll see if the Brits can get this, she goes, "Sweetie, darling, sweetie, we don't have time for that right now. What I need you to do, sweetie." So who is that?
Well, that's Ab Fab. That's
Exactly. It's
yeah.
Adfab, right? So
It's
she's
Edina
built like
Monsoon,
Patsy,
Jennifer,
but talks like
Jennifer Saunders.
what? Yeah, but what's her character's name?
Edina Monsoon.
Adina. That's it. Yeah.
Or you think of Patsy?
No, it's not
she's
Patsy.
She's built like Patsy, tall and willowy,
Yeah.
but talks like Adina. Yeah, exactly. It's so much fun, you know.
I was absolutely giddy when the Wiccan was introduced because my wife has made me watch AbFab so many times, and each time I still enjoy it.
I mean, speaking of comedy shows, I base my stupid French accent on a low.
Hello.
So there you go. So,
That's one of the shows we got over here.
it's not. It's very much British, bawdy, slapstick double entendre.
It's one of the shows we got from the
You got
UK
it. Yeah.
that came over here. Yes, before cable, before there was 800 channels, and they were just, pillaging the UK for content.
It was good for a couple of series, but then it became very monotonous, rehashing the same jokes over and over and over. But the first few series were very good, very silly. Yes, so yes, we do, and I people may disagree. I think Devere has worked quite well.
It's your character, as long as you've had fun, that's the main thing at the end of the day.
Exactly.
I think you've made it work.
Yeah.
Other players, maybe with that same character, might have made it slightly too egregious, but I think you've been walking that line.
I've been trying to walk that line. I've been trying to make him on the edge, and then reeling himself back. But now he's just let himself go. So he might be a little more. No, I'll save it. Save it for the next session. Here's another one from Sven Filker. Do you have any tricks on how to lead players to find clues rather than relying on perception checks to follow your breadcrumbs?
Well, have them roleplay. Have them actually engage with it. Have them interact. Have them describe things out rather than making it into a die roll. Ask them how they go about investigating their clues. If we are to use for something such as heroic, they might turn around and say, "Well, I've got these gadgets. I might use, the Batman, vision to then start looking for fingerprints or reconstruct the environment." Someone who has then got the ability to, I don't know, weave magic. There might be you're able to pull out, what are the emotional stages that were happening at the time. Have the players have a chance to be creative about it. Give them a chance to turn around and say, "Well, here's how I would like to approach it," because their characters might be doing it differently. And then from there, use that as a judging point to determine how or what is needed to make a roll.
I think it depends on the nature of the clue, the nature of the information that they need to learn. I hate with an absolute passion the modern idea of walking into a room and rolling for perception. I really do not like it. I would rather give a description and have the players pick up on aspects of the description and ask to examine specific parts of the location. And if I feel they're missing something, I will sometimes reiterate a description. I might put a little bit more emphasis on something I want them to pay attention to. And even then, if they don't pick up on it, then you use an NPC to help you.
If it's important that they find the clue to keep the story moving forward, let them find the clue. Do not hinge story moving forward, and I do this too sometimes because I'm just like, fuck roll dice because they annoy me, but do not hinge the story's progress on whether or not they fail a roll.
See, I go with the reasoning of have at least have three options, so that you can have the roll, you can have the role play, or you can have the events. So then you've got various ways that things can progress forward. But I do agree, if it is a plot critical event or information, then that is something that needs to be handed to the players. If you want them to work for it, sure, have them be there. But you need to have a plan in the event that the players either say, "We're leaving," or "I can't be bothered." Because those two situations will happen and you need to deal with that.
One thing you can do, if you really want to use mechanics and you really want to have a roll, merely have the roll determine how long it takes them to find what they need, and then have a consequence for a failed roll, meaning they take longer. Put something that is time dependent in there that then potentially causes an obstacle because they've taken longer. Still have them find the information, but maybe it's taken them 3 or 4 hours to dig it out instead of 10 minutes, and something else has happened.
Yeah, this is where Runehammer Hankering for a Nail has a really great thing, which is every room that your players enter as an encounter should have 3 things: a trap, a threat, a timer, and a treat. Right? So that means there's something they got to deal with. That's the threat. There's a timer, and when that timer runs down, something else is going to happen. Could be anything you decide, but there is a timer they have to go against. And the treat, there's something in the room that can benefit them. There's something in the combat area that can benefit them if they find it and figure it out. And I'm telling you, it's actually a really good way to design encounters, especially for fantasy games, because it forces them to think beyond "I swing my axe, I cast magic missile," you know?
No, absolutely. And it also means that you, as a game player, or game master, you're now going to have to start thinking, right, what's the purpose of this room? Because if it's just going to be, it's a 20 by 30 foot room with nothing in it, it's like, why is it here? Why did anyone take time to build it out? What purpose does it serve? If you can't answer these questions, if it doesn't contribute to it, then why have you not just made it into another hallway? Why have you just made the entire thing smaller? This is,
Maybe
maybe
it is just an empty room off the side of a passage that is dusty. The door sticks. But that is a clue that it might be a safe place for the party to hole up that the other denizens have no interest in. The room still then has a purpose. It's not just empty and meaningless.
you and I come from different sides.
Is
this
that
view.
more the players give the room a purpose rather than the room having a
Oh, well, that's fine.
purpose?
That's fine. Yeah, it's fine if the players give it a purpose. They've given it a purpose. That room now has purpose.
But like, well, I've got to at least ask myself, what is the purpose of this place being here?
Depends on the game I'm playing. Depends on the game I'm playing. And I'm of the opinion now that if I'm playing a traditional old school D&D type game, things don't always need to make sense. I've given up with everything making full sense in old school fantasy games, but I like playing games that do make sense. So it's just be flexible. Just enjoy different types of gaming.
No, I mean, yeah, sure. So be flexible with the crowd that you're running for, but I also run these games for myself. And if I am having a game where I don't know why it's here, I was like, why have I put it there? Why is it here? Like, there's got to be a reason. There's got to be internal consistency. And that's what I go for by the end of the day.
Maybe the room once served a purpose, and
there's a purpose. You don't dig into the ground and then fill it with needless holes, because that's just going to lead to structural integrity issues. So why is it here?
Does every dungeon builder think about whether things are going to collapse?
Well, listen, when you get to a dungeon, the first thing you need to find is the serial number so that you can find the goblin HR, so that you can get the people involved in this and to see whether or not it's up to code.
Only you would say that.
Chatty would do that as well. Hello, Cody. Hello, Grim Squirrel. Hello, Per. Hello, everybody else who's joined us. Per, yes, consequences in role playing. Absolutely, they are key. Seraphis is saying there's no evil in Vegemite. There's only strength because that's your version of Marmite, isn't it? Can't stand the stuff. Can't stand the stuff. No, not for me.
That is okay.
Not for me. No. Correct, Squirrel Hermit. Always have an out. Never have the out rely on the dice. Absolutely. And Coco says the role play, or the railway. Yeah,
that's an interesting way of putting it. To be fair.
Oh, this was Seraphis. Seraphis saying question for Grim: would a paladin detect evil from Vegemite? It depends. Depends on the purpose. If the witch who is having the party over for dinner knows that one of the members of the party absolutely hates the stuff, then yes, her spreading it on the toast for the dinner would have this tinge of evil to it. But it'd be her intentions that have the evil, not the Vegemite itself.
Yeah, like you and your fucking player group tormenting Mike with the cabbage.
Absolutely.
The cabbage itself isn't evil. It's what you guys are doing with it that's evil.
Yeah, absolutely. Poor Mike. In a recent D&D session, he's taking us through this it's a fairly lengthy campaign, and we're in a section which is known to have a few issues. The reviewers have all picked up on this section having issues, and so he's fleshing it out. And it's this big guard tower fortress thing, and there's a number of little guard towers around, and we raided one of the guard towers, found a load of provisions at the bottom of the guard tower that Mike had put down there to flesh it out, as you do. So we opened the crates and asked him what was in there, and he said he hadn't. Food. What sort of food? And he goes, cabbages. The worst thing he ever did. Ever since then, everything has been cabbages in that game. From inventing a cabbage deity to creating the exploding cabbages. And one of our players eventually even stopped off at a supermarket on the way to the gaming session a few weeks ago and bought a cabbage specifically to have it sat on the table and annoy Mike.
And then what did you do with it?
We then tore a load of the leaves off the cabbage and hid those leaves around the house. Yes, we're children.
See, there would be a point where I think I would have lost patience with you.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, because I would not have the tolerance for that.
No, no.
No.
I feel like, though, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure no matter what he said, you would have just taken that and run with it to the nth degree.
What, me?
No, John and his players, because that's what they're like.
Oh, they very much are.
He could have said broccoli or fucking, I don't know, a shoehorn, and you just fucking ran with it.
Yeah, but isn't that what players are supposed to do? They're supposed to listen to what the DM says and run with it.
Yeah, but to the
Not
nth
quite in that manner.
degree.
yeah, not quite in that manner. Right, so here we have another one from Svinfilka. Most of my players have military backgrounds. Any ideas on how to challenge them to think unlike they are trained?
Hey, Sergeant Dan, you want to chime in on this?
Tell them if they don't, are they Marines? Because if they, if they don't, tell them if they don't role play properly, you're withholding their crayon rations.
Especially the green ones because they taste like lime. And I like lime. I'm not military. I'm not military, so I don't eat them. Any ideas on how to challenge them to well, you've got to put them in a situation. I mean, okay, it might be the sort of game they enjoy, thinking tactically. I'm going to take. I've mentioned him before. The way Straw Piglet plays, he doesn't role play in terms of improvised voices or anything like that, but he loves to get into the nuts and bolts of the scene and work it out and think up plans and strategies. That's his shtick when it comes to gaming. So if you've got players that like that sort of thing, then you might have to feed it. But also, though, it is good to knock them out of their comfort zone from time to time. And the best way to stop them thinking in a military manner is to play a game like Toon or Paranoia or something like that. Something really silly and just take it to the nth degree and batter them.
So again, it's going to be depending. If you've gone to people with military backgrounds, they are going to be trained to think in squad tactics, going to be communicating with each other and have that sort of mindset. Fine, happy, dandy. They can't apply that to a number of situations. They are going to be again, if it's going to be in a medieval time, there's going to be the whole social hierarchies where they can't just go, oh, but I'm this, this, and this, unless they actually have someone who is able to be in the various social ladders. You're going to have moments where they aren't allowed to be coming into the super secret, awesome guild that is actually a thieves guild or a merchants guild or a smugglers guild or something along those lines. Why? Because they may not speak thieves' cant. Or if they do speak thieves' cant, well, they aren't a part of the gang. There's going to be a number of different ways that you can get around to give them a challenge. It can be a social challenge. It can be an investigation challenge. If it's going to be something along the lines of a tactical challenge, well, at that point, it's just down where you have to then play the enemies with a form of tactical insight, such as, rank and file with, shields in the front, but reach weapons behind it so that there's going to be multiple attacks and you can't just charge in towards the battle lines. Furthermore, you're going to be having the archers at the back and the spellcasters even further back, but with line of sight. That's going to be an important part. Not to mention that start thinking outside of the box. Okay, they've got shields up. Great. Here, have a Molotov cocktail or an oil bomb. Get rid of that if you would. You want to not be on fire? Fine. You want to drop your shield then and do some armor class. Go right ahead and do that. These are the sort of things. Go on.
And I was going to say also you can if you. I think partly my point about Toon and Paranoia is run them through a scenario where the tone is a lot more whimsical and unpredictable. It's hard to be tactical when strange things are happening that are unpredictable for the characters. Also, you could have mind-altering effects, and make them play their characters out of their comfort zone by doing something that alters the character's way of thinking, thus giving the player the job of adjusting.
Or, just say get good, scrub.
Yeah, all that.
Social challenges, yeah, that's one, and reward them when they do something they don't normally do. Reward them for it.
Make them play My Little Pony. There's an RPG for it. Get them out of their comfort zone. Make them play a one-shot of My Little Pony. Make them play Gem and the Holograms. Make them play anything other than tactical military thinking people.
Mm-hmm. Or put them in a world where they don't have real control. Call of Cthulhu.
Well, that's just mean, sir.
Yeah. Hello, timey-wimey-limey.
Everybody should be baptized in insanity.
Yes. Any more comments? I have found. I didn't know how long we'd be chatting on for. And this, I had based on the fact that both Iman and Bear have a bit of a disdain for the old D&D thing.
I don't have a disdain. Listen, okay, let's put this to rest. I don't have disdain for D&D. I'm running a BX campaign right now, using OSE, but it's really BX. What I'm exhausted by is every fucking conversation about role-playing games degenerates to D&D being, and it's always like the answers are always fucking D&D related. It's like there are literally thousands of other games out there. Maybe we could branch out a bit, just a little bit.
I did have a little Google around on the YouTubes and found a video of somebody coming up with a list of his favorite 13 games that were not D&D. Now, we could discuss his choices if you wish. I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
Sorry, what? It's a what?
It's a video of a guy talking about his favorite 13 games that are not D&D.
Which guy is it?
I've never seen him before.
Oh,
he's only a little YouTubey type.
I think I saw it, but I didn't watch it yet.
Go on then.
Yeah.
So let's give it a go. Let's see what he comes up with, and let's see if we have anything to say about his choices.
Yes, now we need to decide how to interpret Bear's answer through an AD&D 2E lens.
Just going past the adverts. Okay.
Or you could use Brave and just ignore all the adverts.
Yeah, I probably could do.
Brave turns off the adverts automatically for you.
Yeah. Thank you again for the recommendation, Bear.
You're welcome.
I haven't watched this video. I've just heard the first few seconds, and I can tell he's got an American accent. He has a fine beard, which is a good start. But he's wearing an MCDM T-shirt.
What's his name? What's the name of his channel?
Let's have a look.
Share the link for the video so we can give some support for him.
Elder Goblin Games.
Never heard of him.
Okay.
No, I haven't either.
Let's get a link for that video thrown into the chat so people can give him some support.
Yeah. And the thing is, we're not going to. I don't want to focus on him. I want to focus on what games he picks.
Dude, his non-13... Dude, 19,000 views on this video. He has 3,220. He has 3.27K subscribers. I think he's fine.
I think he is fine. But yeah, okay.
I haven't opened it up.
I'm opening it up, but he's fine. He also looks like Fat Brian.
Church, you're being a pain in my ass.
Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see what he says. Can you all hear it?
Goblin games.
Yep.
Most PCs are made up and the stats don't matter. That's right. It's like the ending to your supposed campaign. They don't exist. Oh, and before I forget, apparently July is Independent RPG Month, according to Professor Dungeon Master, and he's a professor, so I'll take him at his word. And some of these are indie RPGs, so that counts. Minimum effort, but I did it. Today I'm here to talk about a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. My top 13 non-D&D TTRPGs that I'd like to run right now. These are just in order of how much I'm familiar with them and how much I want to play them right now. Like, if I had a group tonight, what would I run? Another large factor for the games I choose these days is my mental load and capacity has been diminished for some reason or another.
He's a fucking Zoomer.
Well, if you're following anything in the TTRPG,
he's got a child, so he's
good for him. Doesn't mean he can't be a Zoomer. Zoomers are in their 20s now.
How old do you say he is? I think he's 30ish.
Can we get to
28?
hobby
Can we
space
keep
right
annoying
now.
Taxius?
Your YouTube feed is probably over encumbered. See what I did there? With videos about a certain rules refresh that nobody asked for. Sorry,
You're not
salty
funny!
at all or anything. I'm just really, really bored with the epic fantasy genre right now, and it looks like D&D is headed in a direction that I'm not at all interested in. So here are 13 alternatives to playing the one game from those wizards at that one beach. So without further ado, let's get into number 13, Savage Worlds. This is a genre-agnostic universalist game, meaning it can cover everything from urban fantasy, detective noir, steampunk, cyberpunk, whatever else punk, or just good old classic medieval fantasy. This might be the perfect game for you and your group to try, especially if they're coming from games like 5e and Pathfinder, and they still want a good bit of character customization and power level, but a more streamlined and easy to grasp system. The only reason this game isn't higher on my list is because I haven't actually run it myself, which is going to be a common theme for the next two games as well. It's in the spot I can't get to. Number 12, Crown and Skull. This game has such a fresh and interesting take on the fantasy.
So, thoughts on Savage Worlds at 13? I've played the Wild West. What was the Wild West one take on it? Deadlands, yes. And I quite enjoyed the setting for Deadlands. The mechanics were right. The mechanics were fine. It ran fairly smoothly. I rather enjoyed it. I rather enjoyed that sort of dark Wild West setting. But any of you played Savage Worlds? Any of you like Savage Worlds?
I've run Savage Worlds numbers of times. It's a game that I love on paper and hate in execution.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to second that. Okay. You can do some awesome things, and oh no, I don't have the book anymore. They've got a setting called Weird Wars, which I love. It's based in World War II, where you play as the Allies, and depending on your nationality, you then get a whole bunch of benefits. You can really have a cool setup, anywhere from the frozen eastern frontier to the humid and horrifying Pacific frontier. I like it on paper, but the execution of the mechanics comes in the way and bogs things down, I find.
Okay. I thought the mechanics were quite smooth.
Malachi loves Savage Worlds, and you've roleplayed with Malachi, so that should answer all your questions. Hey, Malachi, how you doing, buddy?
Malachi is naturally quite quiet.
I just like picking on Malachi.
Right. GM Cody says he likes their setting books, and Sergeant Dan reckons it's okay for shorter campaigns and one shots. Yeah. I mean, the game I played in was an extended one shot. We played about 7 or 8 sessions, and I enjoyed the Deadlands setting. I really enjoyed the Deadlands setting because
I really like the Broken Earth that they've got, which is a setting of post-apocalyptic, but it's primarily because I haven't opened this in a while. It's because it goes into the whole details of, hey, do you want to have a Fallout setting with their serial number filed off, with base building mechanics where you can play as a synth, where you can play as a mutant, where you can play as a variety of different people and characters that really sort of help sort of expand onto you playing in the post-apocalypse. And the fact that they've got a base building setups with an actual easy mechanics, so you don't have to sit and go, oh, I need to count how much energy I'm producing and so on. It's resources. It's just how much resources you've got, and you go out and you're trying to re-establish the human civilization while either integrating, trading, or conquering other neighboring communities. I like it. Again, on paper, I really like it. It's a setting I like. Would love to take some players through that.
But you're not a big fan of the mechanics.
The mechanics is just like, I'm not saying like it's so bad that I don't want to run it. It's just I would need to submerge myself into the mechanics to run it, or I would need to find a system that could easily adapt it in. I know that Savage Worlds also do Pathfinder editions of their settings, so that you can take the same concept and then run it via Pathfinder.
Are you talking about this, Saxius?
Yeah, so
this massive box of stuff?
Yes.
You started running that there, but you've switched your game that was due to run with that to OSE. So, yeah.
And you know why I switched it, right? I know exactly how difficult a creature can be in OSE or BX.
Mm.
Pathfinder, I have no idea. Not Pathfinder, sorry, Savage Worlds, I have no idea. Is this challenging? Is it not? It's really hard to gauge challenge in that game unless you're like super into the game system. And I'm not. So I moved on.
Fair enough. Right, we're going to move on to the next one he mentions. This is number 12, and is this Crown?
I've never heard of this Crown and Skull.
You've never heard of it? You heard of it?
Never.
Okay.
Oh, it's from Runehammer. Okay.
I like the look of the book.
It has such a fresh and interesting take on the fantasy TTRPG genre, and I cannot wait to try it. Crown and Skull is a player-facing game that centers around the character's abilities, equipment, and spells that the players come up with themselves, meaning much more of the mechanics are offloaded from the GM and put into the hands of your players, trusting them to carry the bulk of the action as much as, if not more than the GM. Players declare their own skill rolls, defense checks, and use hero points to build their equipment and abilities. There are no stats or even hit points in Crown and Skull, but instead it uses an attrition system where you cross off equipment and skills as you take on injuries. This may be one of the most unique role-playing games out there, and I would expect nothing less from old Hankerin Furnail from the Runehammer team. I highly recommend it if you want to shake up your table's playstyle, especially if you've fallen into tired stereotypes and generic themes. Crown and Skull is guaranteed.
I'm going to say a no to that one.
Yeah.
No, I can see that working. I can see that working, but not in a long-term campaign.
Yeah. I mean, I love the way that book looks. I thought that artwork was beautiful, the whole presentation of it. But the idea that, as a DM, I like being responsible for a lot of the mechanics. It's something I like to carry on my shoulders, because I don't want the players thinking about them as much. So this sounds like it's not my sort of game.
I hear that from what I'm hearing here, there's a lot of, especially for creative players, there's a lot that they can latch onto as they're going to be creating their own spells, they're going to be creating their own equipment. So that means that, at least for me as the GM, I'll have to do a lot of coordination as well as working alongside with the players for that to be brought up. But it means that those who've got the creative mindset,
Zatran, just because I thought we hadn't got a topic for tonight, so we had a chat for an hour, and I've just thrown in this video that I found half an hour before. So yeah, we've been chatting, taking questions from chat for the first hour, and I just thought I'd throw this in and we'd discuss his choices. I haven't watched it, so I don't know what he's going to come up with. I can guess on some of them by what's on his shelf behind him, but I just thought we'd discuss his choices, because he's looking for games that aren't D&D because he doesn't like the direction D&D is going, and I think that's a fair point. Sorry, Saxius, I jumped in anyway. I jumped in on you.
No, as I was saying, I just think that if you've got a group that is creative and that can dig in and think outside the box, it will be a fun short campaign for you to run. But I don't see this working in a long term or in a long form kind of setup.
Okay. Coco says he has it. It's different, and the game is entirely tied into its game world. Okay, does that make it a bit limited? I don't know.
Well, I suppose you would say the same for Shadow of the Demon Lord. Like, it is tied directly into that world. That's the entire premise of Shadow of the Demon Lord.
Okay. Let's see what
Keys to get you and your players thinking on a different plane of existence. The shadows are dark in the dungeon. The shadows are dark in the forest. Number 11.
Oh my god, I can't stand this.
Umbra. I think that's Latin for Shadow Dark.
He is kind
I
of
know
cringy.
it's only the most popular Neotrad retro clone on the market right now, and yes, that's what I'm going to call it. Shadow Dark takes all the good things from old school gaming and smashes that together with more modern mechanics that favor intuitive design over clunky charts and bloated rules. That's right, Thaco, I don't need you anymore. Not only that, but its layout and design is super simple, straight to the point, and doesn't waste a word on any page. That gets huge points in my book. But it doesn't just steal from the old and new. Shadow Dark has its own showcase of innovative mechanics, as well as very streamlined character creation and advancement. This is absolutely as high on my list as a game I've never played can be. I would run it tonight if people showed up at my house and didn't wake up my kid. Number 10 and number 9.
Did Cher make those cats do that?
I think he made those cats angry, man. Oh, this guy is cringe on toast. I mean, like nothing personal against the guy, but wow.
Cringe on toast.
I'm not a fan of him throwing in those little video clips.
Yeah, I'm gonna shunner this shit. It's very bad and yeah, look, Shadow Dark, I tried to like it. I can't stand the way she does character classes. They're so minimalist and random and annoying. And it's a game really based on dungeon crawling, and I don't dungeon crawl, hence why you have my copy.
Yes, and I thank you for that copy. I happen to agree with what he said about Shadow Dark. It's one of the games I have that I've not played that I most want to play. I've read through it. I haven't read all of it, but I've read bits and pieces, and I like everything that I've seen from it, and I really would like to play it because I think it hits the right notes. But I haven't got around to running it yet because just don't have time. So anyway, I like the look of Shadow Dark, but I've not played it, and I would put it near the top of my games I'd like to run. Just behind Vassen, which is at the top of the list.
I like the. Oh, sorry, go on.
Then hopefully we'll get Anne to run us through a game of Vassen on the Discord soon. You saying Saxius?
Well, I like the ideas that I'm hearing about Shadow Dark. I've run it by one of my groups who are quite interested because it's different. Because it's different, such as no dwarves can't just see in the dark, and you have to use the mechanic of having a 30-minute timer for the torches.
1 hour.
They are an hour, fine. Then they are liking that. They're wanting to do something like that is different from your standard D&D. Because it changes up, and it means that there's going to be more resource management, and there's going to be a different sort of set of requirements. Most of the games that I have run has not been dungeon crawl. It is actually quite rare in my D&D games that the players actually go into a dungeon or into a tomb to then go raiding about it. So to them, this is new and exciting because they don't see it.
I wish Kelsey nothing but future success. She's a wonderful person. She's had tremendous success. She managed to strike while the iron was hot during the OGL crisis. God bless her. Nothing but power to her. I don't care for the game myself, personally. If I'm going to play old school style D&D, give me OSC.
I'd like to give it a try. I mean, I like the presentation. I like what she's done with the game. I like the fact that she's got some fairly up-to-date mechanics and really stripped them back. And I like the randomness that's in there because, of course, I'm lol random. But yeah, we disagree. We're allowed to disagree. That's part of the fun of it. I see Chatter predicting what things he's going to come up with.
I think Mr. Baker skipped ahead.
Has he? Right. Okay.
I can see that Not Your Echo does come up with a good question of how can you reliably recommend a game you've never played? Well, you can still read, from my perspective, you can still read the game, engage the mechanics.
No, you can't.
Sorry?
That's exactly what Savage Worlds did to me. I read it and went, these mechanics look good. Everything on paper on Savage Worlds is exactly what I want out of game design. And then I played it multiple times.
Fair enough.
As a player and as a storyteller. And I can't stand it. So I disagree with you, Sax. Look at that, guys. Saxes and I can disagree on shit.
Yeah. Halakar is honest here. I have a friend who has heavily backed all their Kickstarters, and he really likes it. I never tried it because I'm old and yell at clouds.
Yes. Cloud yellers unite.
All
right, let's keep going.
Okay,
this is my 20 minutes of hate for the week. Thank you.
I'm going to cheat a little bit and just cram the next two together. So here's 8 and 9, Cairn and Knave. Mostly because they have a lot of similarities, but they stand out on their own merits for different reasons. They are about the most lightweight systems humanly possible, especially Knave 1. I think it's something like 10 or 15 pages, and that includes a D100 spell list. They're both classless systems with an OSR style, and again, don't waste any of your time on word count. Cairn has a lot of very good, very concise GM tips, and a really cool spell system using inventory slots, which I'm probably going to steal for my own TTRPG that I'm writing. And Knave 2 has hands down the best D100 tables of any RPG out there. Seriously, it's a cool game, but it's worth the price just for the tables alone. Plus, you can use them with any fantasy game you're playing. I think these are both excellent games for new players and for players who want a little less rules and a little more imagination. Moving right on.
So my problem with games like this is, I'm going to rant, so settle in, is this idea that there's going to be no fucking rules. What is it with this fucking generation of gamers and their fear of rules? Just don't fucking play games then. Sit around and tell stories together and make shit up and pass the conch between you while you're passing the joint between you, because for fuck's sake, it's a game, and games need rules. They need rules, boundaries, and end zones. Otherwise, it's just fucking mental masturbation. And I'm sick the fuck of these games getting so much goddamn praise, while good games that should have exploded and been massive and their creator laughing in money doesn't get any fucking play because this fucking generation of 30 and under seem to be obsessed with the idea of fucking, well, you know, the rules just get in the way of my character and my story. And fuck off. Rant over.
But I do agree, though. Like, I like my games to have meat on them. Like,
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
It's the same. It's the same reason for why, like the game Basic Fantasy. It's too basic for me. I don't like it. It's so bare bones, and it's really meant for you, the game master, to then go and expand upon it mechanically and the like. I'd rather just pick up my AD&D books if that's what I want to do. Like, there's nothing there that really appeals to me, and I've bought the core books, the expansions, and the likes just to get into it. There's just nothing that really sort of makes me dig into it. It's the same why I'm sort of on and off with OSC, because it's first edition, and I don't like first edition. And if it's going to be going down the route that I need to take the advanced fantasy, but then I'm moving towards second edition, I might as well just again pull out my second edition games. So I agree with you, Bear. Like, there's got to be a structure that both players and DMs play by.
I like rules light.
But there's a difference between rules light and rules non-existent.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
I don't need a coffee. I'll be back.
How many times have any of us? I mean, okay, Bear's not here for this, but how many sessions, Iman, of Call of Cthulhu have we played where we've barely rolled any dice, where we've barely engaged in any rules at all?
I'd say probably 20-25%.
Yeah. I mean, the rules are there in the game to engage them if necessary, but you can have a good as long for me, I don't like rules that get in the way. And I get where Saxis is coming from, because the rules do give the game structure. And you could argue that Call of Cthulhu's rules give it its structure, and I'm building the game on the framework of the rules, and using the scenarios I'm using, and what have you. But I'd be quite happy with a game that was just 5 or 6 pages of rules, as long as they were long enough and detailed enough to do what the game wants to do. But then I do also like AD&D, which has got pages and pages and pages of rules. So yeah, I'm all over the place. But when I'm running games online now, I do tend to prefer rules light.
Oh, I was almost about to suggest a 1-page rules for you, John, but I don't. That you don't do tabletop games.
No, not really.
Yeah, tabletop war games, no. Well, that's pretty much what they provide. It's just free 1-page. Here is all of the things, and then they've got their core book, which is just like 10 or 15 pages of just here's how the rules actually work. Now you've got that, and then there's each faction of how that's being done. What you're describing, I don't imagine that existing for well, it probably does, but I wouldn't be the audience for such a tabletop game.
No, I know. We all have different preferences, and it's only really in the last 3 or 4 years when my own improvisational skills have become better that I've been more confident to wing it for longer periods. And now winging it is pretty much my default way. I like a simple system that's flexible enough for me to just pluck bits and pieces from it as and when I need them. And otherwise, I just wing.
I think
me and you, Saxis, we are very different in the way we run games.
Oh, by miles.
I think if you can run something flying by the seat of your pants, you can definitely run it while you're prepared.
That is true. That is true. That is very true. But I think there is a place for I say not no rules, because it's not a game unless there are some rules. But rules like, I mean, I'm sure in those books there are some rules. They can't just be advice. They can't
They
just.
are, but they're just so limited. They're so. All right. If the character can do anything, players do nothing. Do you
True.
understand?
True. Yeah, of course.
They just sit there and stare. You need stuff in the game to tell them what they can and cannot do, so they think and they strategize and they come up with ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So I hate these fucking talking stick games.
But a book full of tables is always good. I'm going to say that.
Really? Is that what you need, a book full of tables, or you just use your own goddamn imagination and make some shit up and make some decisions as a GM?
Tables can make for some interesting outcomes.
Lazy.
Maybe.
I'm just in a bad mood.
Let's see what he comes up with
Go
next.
on.
Fucking therapy.
Numero ocho. Blades. In the dark. This is a game about rogues,
How does this
scoundrels,
fucker have
thieves, and
3,000
assassins.
subs?
A narrative-driven RPG that specializes in running scenarios of intrigue and heists. Let's see. What can I say about Blades in the Dark that hasn't already been said 100 times over? I think this is the perfect game for in-between games, when your players still want to meet up and roll dice, but your main game can't get together for one reason or another. Blades is perfectly suited for a low to no prep session because of the way it's set up. The choices your players make around their characters and crew will so naturally build a conflict that the session practically writes itself. After a few questions and maybe 5 to 15 minutes of prep, you can have a fun and thrilling game ready to go without much strain on the GM. Blades is a ton of fun and super easy to run if you like improv and narrative style games. I would put it a little higher on my list, except for the fact that it's very intrinsically tied to its genre and setting. But in my opinion, this is actually a boon that allows the GM to focus on story beats and not get lost in things like world building. Number 6.
Right. Blades in the Dark. I know this is a bit of a polarizing game because Evil Hat, the company that publish it, are a bunch of knobheads. One of my Monday night group has got Blades in the Dark, and we have talked about me running it. I would happily do so because I won't have lined their pockets with any of my own cash. I like the sound of Blades in the Dark. I like a lot of things I've heard about it, but I haven't actually read the rule book yet. I just know what I've heard, so I can't say for certain.
I have the book. I have not run it. I have talked to players who have run it, who have played in it, and it's one of those where we're going to be defaulting back to Savage World. On paper, I like what the book is presenting. I like that it is based on video games such as Thief and with dabs of interest such as Dishonored.
Nice. Okay.
I like that you are set in a city where you can't just up and leave. You are in the city. If you go outside the city, the rest of the world is filled with demons. You're dying. Like you cannot leave, meaning your actions are going to have consequences because you will be robbing and bumping into other criminal organizations and groups.
Which I like as well, yeah.
So this setup of like you have to be in this world where you have to effectively like the society is based around keeping these electrical walls running to prevent the evil from the outside, or the demons, whatever you want to call them, from coming in and killing everyone. But you still have a world or a society where crime is still happening. Your actions, your heists, are going to generate notoriety and is going to generate heat. The cops, the law is going to come down after you, the other gangs are going to come down after you, and you need to find ways of hiding out. This sounds all well and nice. The part where I have been turned off by it is when I then actually hear how the heists have been executed, because a lot of it has been then treated like you are now in an Ocean 11 movie, where you roll and you spend stress points and something else, which then allows you to have flashbacks where you wink at the security guard in the museum that you're breaking into, and you now have a flashback of how you met him and how you convinced him to look the other way if you were to be seen. And then you're supposed to be building up that you're running out of favors, that you're now becoming more desperate, and then at the very end of the entire thing, you should be gunning it and praying that you are able to get out of there. Because if not, you're going to be caught, or you're going to be making it worse for yourself. That's the part where I sort of go like, I don't like how this is being done, because I would actually like to do the logistics and the entire scoping and all that. I don't want to just flashpoint my way forward and then go, okay, we're now in the actual heists, and now we're just having all the flashbacks that we have from like Ocean 11 and the like.
Now, again, I think this is where we come at games from different angles. I like the sound of that, because the whole idea of you're spending your stress points and you've got a finite number of resources to have these flashbacks, and whatever you come up with in the flashback is going to have consequences further down the line. That to me intrigues me.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Just trying to find the character, not classes, but like the archetypes that you can play as. Because yeah, you've got you've got stress, you've got trauma, you can push yourself. There's references to like the clocks, so like how long an event takes place. So that way, the idea being, I don't know if this is going to be visible when I bring it up. No. So from there, you can see the different ways that the clock is basically built out, and then from there, rather than the DM going like, okay, are we moving along? The DM or the game master basically says, right, now another part of the clock has been struck, and that means you now lost another hour of the heist that you've broken out. So now you've got to get a move on. That's a way of the DM just sort of going like, well, you've faffed around enough. Here's your consequence.
I mean, I think the guy in the video put it right though. This to me does sound like a fun one-shot game, a filling in type game between campaigns. But I don't think I could pull this off for more than a couple of sessions.
No, this is mini campaign stuff, in my opinion. Like this is clearly not, in my opinion, like something you're going to be having that is going to be going on for like months and months. This is something you might be doing for like, I don't know, 3 to 4 sessions in a row, maybe 5, depending if you faff around too much with a little bit of a loadout, and then done dusted.
Faff around.
Right,
Faff around.
We'll move on to the next one. And
shout out to Hanker and Fernail for making this list twice. Number 7 is ICRPG, otherwise known as Index Card RPG, otherwise known as Index Card Role-Playing Game. I'm going to read this straight off of my script.
Bear, you're shaking your head.
I wanted to love that game. I bought it, and then I got it, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Hankering for a Nail may be one of the best scenario and adventure designers I've ever seen. He is not, in my opinion, and my taste, so subjective, not objective, claws in, ladies, a good game designer. Now,
I played one session of Index Card RPG. It was at a convention, and I came away from that game thinking that was a lot of fun. Would I play it again? Would I play it again as a one-shot at a convention? Absolutely. Would I play? Would I want to? Do I want to run it? Absolutely not. Do I want to buy it? No. Would it work as a campaign? No. It's another game that's a one-shot game, but I think as a convention game, as a one-shot in like the way the stakes build up, the way the emphasis passes around the table, I think are neat ideas. But again, it's a short-term fix. It's not something that really has long-term appeal to me. Anyone want to add anything to that?
No, I mean that's these are your opinions of it.
No,
I don't know about this game. I've never picked it up.
Yeah, I think it would make for a very good board game, and it does work as a role-playing game because there was plenty of role-playing going on when we were playing it, but it does have board game elements. Zatron, are you slightly behind on the stream? Basically, Evil Hat are a company who my position when it comes to pushing politics in games is just, no, let's just play the game. Let's just have fun playing the game. But they wear their politics on the sleeve. They are very active in your Twitter type places. And they outwardly say, if you don't agree with us, we don't want you playing our game. And I don't think that could come into game creation at all.
I remember that.
Yeah. And that comes from both sides of the sphere. I don't like seeing either side of the politics divide pushing politics into their games. I don't want it. Just create a good game. Screw the politics.
Agreed.
Right, let's move on.
Index Card RPG feels like a more lightweight, more efficient version of D&D. It's a perfect game for folks who want to try D&D but don't want to spend an hour building characters for a one-shot or short campaign. It's full of inspiring game master tips and rules that will feel like quick hacks for games like D&D 5e. There are modifiers in place of derivative stats and simple mechanics for things like target numbers, hit points, equipment, and spells. This game really distills fantasy RPGs into their core elements and gives plenty of breathing room for creativity and good old role-playing shenanigans. Plus, it has options for fantasy, sci-fi, paranormal westerns, superheroes, and an interesting post-apocalyptic Ice Age world. This is an excellent addition to any collection, whether you're a brand new player or an old grognard. Yes, that is how it's pronounced because it's French or something.
Yes.
Like me. He has a certain je ne sais quoi, grognard. Okay, I promise I won't do that again. This video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave some comments, and hit that little bell icon. Make sure it says all and not personal. Because Professor Dungeon Master has taught me that means you'll miss out on all my cool videos and only get the ones the YouTube robots want you to have. Don't let the YouTube robots win. All right, get ready to break out your forklifts because it's time for number 6. Cipher, system. I'm really nailing it tonight. Sleep deprivation is a thing. Anyways, this hefty tome, despite its size and grandeur, I would almost call this a rules light system. I challenge you to find a more customizable, mechanically customizable system with a lighter weight rule set. I know people are going to come at me in the comments and say this is not rules light, but just look at running it as a GM. It's like pretty much know number 1 through 10, and that's how you run a monster. The rest is like flavor, pretty much. So, yeah.
Anyone ever played anything with Cipher System?
No.
Saro, are you here, Seraphis?
The Seraphis like Cipher System.
He was talking about it earlier, for sure.
Yeah, he did mention it. Yeah. I don't know anything about it. Don't know anything about it at all.
How can that be rules light when it's the size of a frickin' encyclopedia?
Is there a lot of fluff in that book? Don't know. I don't know. I know nothing about it. So, Seraphis, if you're still here in chat, tell us why you like Cipher System. If you're
and
not,
it's pronounced Grognard. But that's neither here nor there.
Grognard.
Grognard, Grognard, Grognard.
Grognard.
Yeah, there you go. Now you got it.
Grognard.
I'll get you a better French accent for your Call of Cthulhu games eventually.
Grognard.
Grognard, les Grognards.
It's French for
But anyway,
grumbler.
the point being is that Cypher is a game Numenera. So everyone who has seen Star Trek 4, the one with the whales, there's a moment where the Klingon ambassador hold, and they cut, and it stops on Captain Kirk. He goes, "Behold, the quintessential devil in these matters," and that is who Monty Cook is. If you want to know why modern D&D sucks, it's because of Monty Cook. And the people who are all part of the Monty Cook cult seem to think the guy can do no wrong. Tolis and Numenera and Cypher. I can't stand the man's game design philosophies. They are contra to what I think game design should be. Therefore, when I tried to read Numenera, I gave it a chance. He's got that Gary Gygax problem. I'm going to create new names for stuff because that's cool. Yeah, don't bother using the terminology we've all been using for 50 years. Just make up new shit. That'll be much easier for us all to fucking suck down. I can't stand his fucking games. All right, I'm good.
Go for it, Bear.
Yeah, you don't see me this riled up very often, do you?
Oh, no, it's good. It's good. It's good. I know nothing about Cypher, so I can't. I've not played a Monty Cook game. I know he was quite big in the D&D world around the 3rd edition 3.5 era.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a version of D&D that I absolutely hate. So there we go.
Yeah, they're going to come at me, but that's fine.
Bear's coming
They
at you.
always do. Cypher System just might have the largest selection of character options for any game I've ever played. And while there is a certain level of complexity that builds as you level up, it never really gets out of hand. Running the game on the GM side of screen is as easy as picking a number between 1 and 10. No, seriously. It's that simple. Not to mention, this is probably my favorite universal game out there. It just has every trope you can think of for just about any genre of game. If there's any complaint I have, it's that there are almost too many options. Looking through the character creation section can be downright overwhelming. But if the idea of all that creativity and world building feels daunting, Numenera is their sci-fantasy version of the game that has just about the most well thought out and fresh take on the genre possible, with what feels like aeons of history already written and a ton of really cool, unique monsters and worlds.
Oh, here we have an advert. Skip the advert.
Seriously, though, I wasn't even interested in sci-fantasy until I flipped through these books. We go from one weighty tome to the next. Number 5. Gotcha, it's DCC. This is a beefy boy, though. Holy crap, it's 500 pages. If you were looking for a fun, zany, gonzo, classic-feeling fantasy game that is somehow still high-octane, it's right here in the name, baby. Dungeon Crawl Classics. I mean, what other TTRPG are you going to find with a guy wearing striped pants on the back? Dungeon Crawl Classics is exactly what you imagine it is. A low fantasy, gritty meat grinder of a game with lots of random elements and, of course, dungeons. This game has some of the best written, most digestible adventure modules currently on the market, and there's a ton of them. They are full of wacky, crazy, creative ideas, and man, do they turn up the weird to 11. This is a game you don't want to take too seriously and don't want to get too invested in any one character. This is rags to riches at its best. You've probably heard of its infamous funnel system where you take a bunch of gong farmers and bakers and see who survives the chaos. But the game does have a decent bit of power creep at higher levels. I found that I personally only enjoy running until about level 5, which is probably equivalent to about level 10 in a lot of modern games. DCC captures an old school feel without making you feel like you're filing your taxes each session. This is a game where you definitely want to roll in the open and let the fates decide.
All right, before we get on to number 4, DCC. Now, I've never run it. I don't want to run it because it looks like an absolute beast to run. However, I enjoyed playing it because I do like randomness and I do like some of the bonkers outcomes. I enjoyed it.
Okay. I am not touching it. I own it. It's a mistake purchase in my opinion. Don't want it. Not interested. It just turns me off with just how random it is at times. And I think the main thing that won me over was the entire funnel system. Everything I've learned about it since then has made me go, nope, 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 and nope.
Cool. Hello,
Yeah,
Cat.
if you have to have special dice and I can't just use my fucking starter set dice to play your game, fuck off. If I have to go buy special dice to play your fucking game, fuck you. And I'm done. And apparently so's Iman and Daniel.
Daniel did say "Tara." He had to get off. That was a Birmingham
Can't handle
thing.
our statements.
Ta-ra. That's how we say goodbye in Birmingham. Ta-ra. I'd imagine Iman will probably be back. He's having a connection issue. DCC. It does. I mean, yes, it can feel overly wacky, but again, it's something I quite enjoyed in short doses. Would I play it as a go-to game? No. Did I enjoy the games I played in it? Yes.
Yeah, but so here's the thing. Most of the games I purchase is not, oh, how can I run this for 2 weeks and then ditch it? I'm asking myself, sorry?
I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, but like that's I mean, that's what I'm. Some of these games that I've gotten is like, okay, like Shadows in the Dark, or Blades in the Dark. You know, that's clearly something I'm going to be running. It's short bursts as a sort of like campaign between campaigns. Sure, that's what I'm probably going to be finding the most use for it. DCC, I just don't want to do that because it's just so outrageous. It's just the consistency is just annoys me. So I'm not.
It does look like a lot of work for short sessions. That book being as chunky as it is. I mean, I found there were secondhand copies going at Games Expo last year. I could have easily got a secondhand copy of it for about £10, and I passed on it. So that shows what I thought the idea of running it. I didn't want to buy it.
Well, it's not even. I don't even think it's to do with that. It's also to do with the whole. Yes, it is chunky, but like the majority of it is when you start, and as you're going to be going through, because everything's going to be so random and so whimsical and gone. So I just do not see me running that and saying I am going to be having fun with this.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't long term, but in short bursts, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that short bursts.
I don't generally run one shots. I run. To me, I would call them mini campaigns. So that's between 6 to 10 sessions. Like that's the minimum I will do. Otherwise, you are in this for at least 6 to 12 months.
I thought you were going to say years then.
No, like I generally I go for between like 6. Normally it's 12 months. Sometimes it goes a bit beyond that. The longest campaign I've run successfully has been my AD&D campaign, and that was 4 years we did. And yeah, like generally I will run a game for about a year, and then I go, great, we're now changing, and then we move to something else.
You've got your value out of it though, haven't you, if you've run it for a year?
Well, that's the point. Like, I'm not going to run it for a short term. Like, I'm going to be putting in the investment. That's usually a year minimum, like, give or take.
We're now 15 months into Horror on the Orient Express. Right, next one. As we can see, it's Burning Wheel. I know nothing about Burning Wheel, so
Number 4, Burning Wheel. This might be a controversial take to be so high on my list, but I think Burning Wheel is a narrative experience unlike any other game you've ever played. Yeah, this is a cool book. I mean, just look at this. All right, get ready. This is my Anchor Inferno impression.
It's a nice looking book.
This is like a book that you want to take out while you're at the bar, you know? That was not a good Hank Inferno impression. This is a game that somehow makes narrative storytelling and character building crunchy. I know it sounds too weird to be true, but seriously, by the time you've chosen your beliefs, instincts, and traits, you'll have something akin to a Game of Thrones style character written. Plus, the way your characters are tied through relationships and circles naturally creates interesting stories. I don't think I've seen another game with more of a mechanical focus on the narrative. In fact, playing to your character's beliefs, instincts, and traits can earn you points called Artha, to be spent to influence the story, bolster your other skills, and things like shrugging off pain. Burning Wheel is at times more crunchy than I usually enjoy, and some of the layout is admittedly a little clunky. It's a game that definitely requires the right GM and the right group. There's also a sister game to this called Mouse Guard, which is a bit of a rules update and a cleaner layout and everything, but it's got the kind of Mouse Guard vibes if you've ever seen that comic series, which I like the aesthetic of Burning Wheel just a little bit.
So, Bear, Burning Wheel.
So you know that thing where I tell people I'm a dirty, filthy story gamer?
Mm-hmm.
I fucking hate narrative games.
Is that because they try to define the story beats?
It's because they... Move along. I have nothing to say.
Go on, man.
No. I'm about to get all culture war-y. Move along.
Okay.
I have nothing to say.
Okay, fair enough. Saxius, do you know anything about Burning Wheel?
No, but it's more the whole thing of, again, it's sitting along kumbaya without telling a story together. Not really my cup of tea. You probably saw it earlier when he brought up, Warhammer Fantasy. I was like, oh boy, this is exciting. This is something I can talk about. Nope.
No, put it down again, didn't they? Yes.
Yeah,
I saw you grin for a moment.
So having hopes, I was like, yes, nothing's going to be more fun than telling your players that yes, you are indeed going to be spending the next 3 weeks fighting the diseases because you decided to go into the sewers.
Squirrel Hermit says the Burning Wheel is not narrative unless you want it to be.
All right, well, I'm happy to be wrong, but at the moment, it's just not won me over.
Okay, we will move along. I don't know anything about Burning Wheel, so
a bit better. Speaking of mice, it's time to talk about Mouse Ritter. You knew it was coming. It's on the thing. Yep, Mouse Ritter. The tag should have been, the mice may be small, but their tails are huge. I think this might be the perfect RPG for kids and new players, and the themes really evoke the imagination in a big way. Mouse Ritter is an extremely lightweight fantasy game based loosely on the Into the Odd OSR system. However, there are things about Mouse Ritter's style and layout that really caught my imagination. The game is extremely easy to comprehend and only uses 3 stats: roll under saves, and a unique slot-based inventory system. Plus, the box set comes with all these little handy punch-out cards that are great for kids or even visual learners. Combat is straightforward, attacks always hit, and armor reduces incoming damage. I think this might be a perfect first RPG for kids, and the themes and art really evoke your imagination in a big way, despite the small nature of your characters, because they're nice. And there's no reason not to check it out, because the PDF is free on itch.io/.
Another one I don't know, but I agree with Halakar here. It doesn't appeal to me. The idea of running around being a heroic mouse, not my thing, not what I'm looking for. But the idea of having a game that is simple and appealing for kids is a good thing for our hobby in general. Do any of you know anything about Mouse Ritter?
The only thing I know is that if I was going to run Mouse Ritter, mouse would be spelled M-A-U-S, and if you get that reference, you'll understand why.
Oh, yeah, that one. From the comic? Is that...
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. I fucking hate furries.
Okay.
valid.
Mouse
Fair.
Splitter,
Like, this guy and I would never get
MAUSRITTER,
along in a
second to
million
last.
fucking years.
This
I'm
may
just
shock some of you. It may even cause you discomfort, but I don't care. Number 2 is a game that is very near and dear to my heart. Mazes and Monsters. I mean, just mazes, no monsters. There are monsters, but not the Tom Hanks kind. Mazes just might be the perfect game to introduce new people to the hobby, especially if they're not familiar with the trappings of tabletop games. It's super easy to make a character. You just ask about 3 questions to figure out what someone wants to play, then the character sheet does the rest. The mechanics are dead simple and use things like hearts instead of HP. Mechanics that anyone who's played Zelda will immediately understand. And the gameplay is so fluid, you'll never get bogged down with the rules. In fact, the rules often just get out of the way so that you can enjoy the action. The book has a lot of great recommendations, like dropping the player straight into the action to start rolling dice. No preamble in the end, just good old sword and sorcery. The type of role your character will play is decided by the dice you roll, and the percentage chances are built right into the target numbers you're trying to hit. No math needed. Get out of here, math elites. This game is perfect for one-shots, organized play, and folks who want a casual beer and pretzels experience, without getting too much into character building and finicky rules. Drum roll, please. My number 1 pick.
He is focusing very much on one-shot games, casual games. So I'm thinking that's his style. Thoughts on mazes? Anyone know anything about mazes?
none. Never even heard of it before. Right now,
No.
I've not heard of it. I've noticed there is a presentation style in a lot of these newer games where everything's very minimalistic in terms of what's on the page. It's all very big text, very immediate. That's one of the charms of OSE, that it's very immediate and easy to read. So I don't suppose we can really criticize that.
Dragonbane, or as the Swedish like to call it, Drakar och Demoner. I probably butchered that. I'm sure I did. I'm not sure why I'm only just...
I know Danish is not Swedish, but how would you pronounce that in Danish, please?
Can you bring it back, because it is a bit... You need to see how the... Drakar och Demonen.
It's an R.
So
at the
that's...
end.
Is that an R at the end?
Yeah.
Okay,
Demona.
Demona. Yeah, so dragons and demons.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So
Demoner. I probably butchered that. I'm sure I did. I'm not sure why I'm only just now discovering Drakar och Demoner, the Swedish version of D&D that's been parading around with fantasy Darkwing Duck art since the mid-'80s. But
Great
man,
game.
has this game captured my interest. Dragonbane might be, for my money, the best D&D alternative and box set on the market. If you want a not-so-invincible superhero fantasy that doesn't have your players cowering from every fight, with simple yet intuitive roll-under mechanics, and a combat system that won't have your players' eyes glazing over while they wait 5 to 10 minutes for the next turn, then this might be the game for you. The monsters are dead simple to run. You don't even need to read them ahead of time, and combats have just enough nuance to make impactful choices without being overly complex. In fact, I was really captured by this idea of choosing between attack versus defense. It's just an interesting take that I don't think a lot of other RPGs are doing. Character creation is quick, but with enough options to cover all your bases. And Advancement has a different and interesting take where you stockpile points to spend on skills, heroic abilities, and things like that. Not to mention the box set comes with a ton of fun adventures, as well as a solo adventure that gave me a chance to try out the game myself before running it for my players. This game just checks so many boxes for TTRPGs for me, and doesn't feel like you're cramming for the SATs with a academic-sized tome. Well, those are my top 13 picks for...
So there we go. It looks like, I've heard nothing but good things about Dragonbane. I've got a couple of Free League products on the shelves behind. I've not run any of them. I have played in a couple of them, and I like what they do. Their books are beautiful.
Mhm.
They put a lot of effort into it. They don't break the bank either. They tend to be sensibly priced, well produced, well written, from what I can see.
Do you know what the secret of Dragonbane is?
What's that?
It's basic role playing. It's BRP.
Is it?
Yeah, they just changed it to so basically when Demonar was created by the Swedes, they basically hacked BRP, changed it into a D20 system. Divided
Does it work? Does it work well?
It works just fine. I played in a game with Cody, and it was a good time. It's a really good, really good system. I don't know how much length it has because it doesn't feel robust. Like I think it suffers from what a lot of those types of games. They've streamlined it so much that there's no, there's no length. There's no ongoing campaigns will feel short or character growth won't feel good. But that said, it's a really good game.
It's what I am thinking about getting some point in the near future because I've heard so many good things about it. Zaxius, do you know anything about Dragonbane?
No, nothing.
No.
I haven't looked at it. I haven't read up on it. I've heard about it, but I have not given it the time of day. I have enough games on my shelf at the moment.
True.
And
True.
yeah, so I've just not really invested anything into it.
And yeah, chat seemed to like Dragonbane, so it seems he's rescued the list with his number one.
No, he hasn't. There's no rescuing this list. The list is crap. His number one just happens to be a good choice.
How dare he not mention Call of Cthulhu? Everything he says is invalid, apart from Dragonbane.
Are you kidding? They can't play Call of Cthulhu. It's too complicated. It confuses them. There are rules.
It isn't complicated at all. Call of Cthulhu is very simple.
I agree, but they don't think so.
Very, very simple. But no, I think
just D100 for everything.
There are a number of games on that list, Blades in the Dark, for example, that I am tempted to have a go at running, and have been tempted before. But obviously, I have a different gaming tastes to Bear and Zaxius. Iman is forming his fledgling gaming tastes. He's you've
I'm
only
in
run
the experimental phase still.
Yes, you are. Yes. I would like to learn. In fact, I'd like Anne to run Vassen for you and play in that game and see what you think about the mechanics, because it's a horror game with a very different sort of feel, sort of more of a mythological sort of horror. But the system is simple, very simple. I hope you go on with it. I can imagine Anne running a really good game. So
I'm sort of with Bear on this. Like, I'm a dirty, filthy story gamer. As long as the mechanics don't get in the way and it's a good story, I'm in.
I can't see Vassen's mechanics getting in the way. I really can't. So let's see. Cross that bridge when we come to it. So let's see what chat are adding.
I get his.
Well, either way, I mean,
you fucking ADD menace.
Okay, right. So we will stop his video now. I didn't mind that video. I know Bear, you didn't
cringe,
take it.
He was cringe. He was trying to appeal to like the younger audience, and you can just tell.
He's doing the YouTube.
Hey, you know what drives me fucking insane about this generation of YouTubers and content creators? I have a microphone. I'm gonna wave it all around like I'm fucking hosting The Price is Right. Jesus Christ, it's annoying.
Yes, there are some things we can pick up on there, but obviously, he is trying to appeal to the YouTube demographic, and he obviously likes a certain type of game, rules light, and a lot of games that will just sort of fit in between campaigns. So his gaming style, in looking for something, maybe he's trying to find something to fit in between D&D campaigns because he's looking for something that isn't D&D. But I didn't dislike his his presentation, the way he was saying things. I disliked the distractions he put in the video, but I didn't dislike his other presentation.
So I have a question, obviously from like a more new perspective. Are there any games on that list that he says, "Oh, this isn't D&D, but it basically is D&D"?
Yes.
I
DCC?
can.
ICRPG, Dungeon Crawl Classics. There was another one that's basically a D&D hack. Can't remember which one it was. I'm trying to forget. I saw all of that.
That one. That is basically
Shadow
a
Dark. Yeah, Shadow Dark. Thank you.
Yeah, it is a D&D hack. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing impresses me more on a list of games to play other than D&D that has D&D clones on it.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like, well, then just fucking play D&D and add the rules you like from the clone as a house rule.
The thing is, what he said at the start, though, is he was looking for a break from the relentless epic fantasy that D&D has become, for something darker. And he did. Shadow Dark is much darker than D&D because it is so much more lethal.
Would you call DCC to be that same category then?
It has the potential to be a lot darker than D&D, but
Because
it's a lot more random.
I see it as just being gonzo, which to me is just
Bill Herman says the Burning Wheel is not D&D. Well, from what I can make of it, it definitely isn't.
No, Burning Wheel's not D&D. No.
Nor is Blades in the Dark.
I fucking hate heists. Like, I hate them so much. Like, they got so big at one point, they just made me sick of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that like the whole thing? Like, there's nothing else to it.
You are playing as criminals. You are doing heists. You are doing a break-in. You're doing a con. You're doing some form of a criminal activity. You're going to get heat from it. You're going to run away. You're going to lay low. That is the point of Blades in the Dark. Or you could be going down the route of like, oh, we're now assassins. Well, it's just a heist, but you're not doing a murder setup. You're so forth and so forth. Effectively, it focuses on a very specific aspect of gaming, of a very specific genre of storytelling, and that's it. I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying it's very focused.
If you know what you want, that's where you're going to get it, but it offers nothing else.
Exactly. That is what it's for. If you want something...
I'm not burnt out on the idea of heist because I haven't consumed television, films, or I did for many years, and I didn't consume any role-playing game stuff between 1992 and 2012. So if there was a lot of heist stuff in there in those times, I missed it. I missed it all. So there's no burnout here.
Yeah, so it's not done to death for you in particular, then.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be off by the idea because I'm a video gamer. Heisting in video games has been a thing for a long time, especially in Grand Theft Auto.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I've never played it. It's not my sort of game.
It's just the part where it sort of goes, okay, this is annoying for me, is when the players turn around and go like, oh, we're now having this whole setup, and I do a wink to this person, or we go in there, but I've actually done this thing, and then I spend stress. It's like, it means that like whatever preparations I have done now gets thrown out the window. And generally speaking, like I try to be as prepared as I can, but it's difficult for me to be prepared when I know that my players are going to be throwing a wrench in whatever it is that I've been setting up. That's why I prefer that the players then actually go out and do some of the legwork, because then they can reap the rewards of what it is that they do.
Again, it's how we differ, Saxius, because I'm all set to improvise for those wrenches by lack of preparation. But
Blades in the Dark is powered by the apocalypse? Oh, there's yet another reason to wipe my ass with it. Ugh.
I don't. I mean, again, it's not a system I've read, so
It suffers from what Sax has just said. Hey, I'm the referee. I went and I prepared everything, and I'm really good to go. Oh, but as a player, I can monkey with all that because I have these game mechanics that let me be the narrator for 3 seconds and ruin everything you just did. So you're in the middle of the heist, and you got this great moment that they weren't prepared for. Hey, there's guard dogs over there that you didn't know because they weren't on the map. Ha ha ha. Oh, actually, I'm going to spend my bullshit points, and now we're going to do a flashback where I actually infiltrated the kennel as I pretending to be a vet, and I made the dogs my friends by feeding them steak. Oh, fuck off. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, that's some contrived
games.
ass bullshit
Just
right
sit
there.
the fuck around and tell stories to each other. Sorry, I apologize. I'm mad.
No,
Fair
that
enough.
is some contrived ass bullshit right there.
I mean, let's say I haven't read the rules. I like the idea of what I've heard about the game. I like the idea of a claustrophobic city where actions have consequences, where the players are bad guys who have the law after them. Those sort of things sound great to me. I don't know anything about the mechanics, so if the mechanics spoil it, then fair enough. But the premise of the game sounds good.
The premise definitely does sound good. It is something that's definitely worthwhile. I'd say read it, cannibalize it, bastardize it, and make it into your own. You don't need to use the powered by the apocalypse rules. You just need to figure out how you can take what they're trying to do in here and then just pour it into whatever system you're wanting to do. Because end of the day, it's a setup that is doing the heavy lifting. You just need to figure out how can you then take heat and the social pressure that comes from being a criminal, and then just transfer that into the into your current game. If I remember off the top of my head, if I'm right, it is as simple as just being like none, low, medium, high, like wanted, dead or alive. Like it's a very simple setup for how you are, then how you're handled. But it then means that you then have to hop around to different hideouts, which means you're going to come into conflict with other groups, which means the rest of the book is basically here is what the city is like.
Okay.
Hello, King Eric. So, Blades in the Dark, isn't that just Denmark in the winter?
No, it's like Sweden in the winter.
Sweden in the summer.
Yeah.
Right. Did any of you play the non-top 3 TSR games? Top
What?
Secret. What do you mean, Halakar? Top Secret, Villains and Vigilantes, or some of those?
I started my superhero journey on Villains Vigilantes. Top Secret sucks! And that's about it.
I never played any of those.
I think Manfred might have mentioned Top Secret to me once.
There's a much better spy game. There's 2 much better spy games at the same period. Mercenary Spies and Private Eyes by Flying Buffalo, or MSPE, and the Victory Games James Bond game, which was amazing.
Well, that sounds fun.
Depending on which version of Top Secret you're playing, you might have 2 guys with martial arts trying to fight each other, but because they're not using the same style, it's almost impossible for them to fight each other. What? Yeah. Well thought, guys.
Boot Hill is always a game that intrigued me, but I never had the pennies to spend on it at the time. I like the Wild West. I am intrigued by the Wild West. It feels like an alien world to Britain, which it was. But I've done a lot of digging into the history of the Wild West, and I find it a fascinating time period. But I can understand how it might be oversaturated over the other side of the Atlantic. So I've never played Boot Hill though. I know nothing about the mechanics of Boot Hill. It's probably very lethal, which it should be.
I hope
I
the
can't
game's
say
more
that,
interesting than the title.
I just don't have any interest for the Wild West. I understand the appeal, but it's just having talked to some American historians or like just history buffs. It's just maybe not the time period I'd be interested in doing.
Do you know what Boot Hill is, Iman?
No.
It's all right. You're not missing out on anything.
It's it was the nickname for a graveyard in the Wild West,
Right. Okay.
so that's why. That's why it's called Boot Hill. It's a nickname for a graveyard. So yeah, the outlaw's going to Boot Hill. It means he's going to die.
Oh, apparently.
I thought you meant like the tabletop game that TSR did.
What's that?
But didn't they do a Western table TSR? Didn't they do a Western RPG called Boot Hill?
That's what I'm on about. Yeah.
No.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. I never played Star Frontiers or Gamma World either. So Boot Hill's very
Gamma World, depends which edition of Gamma World, really. Like some editions of Gamma World are great, and some are like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, it never appealed. Yeah, Halakar's defined it there. If you died in a gunfight with your boots on, then you were buried on Boot Hill.
That is somehow something I was able to glean after you told me that it was a graveyard. I just figured that the boots.
Is there an RPG
mental
based on the English Civil War, Cromwell, etc.?
There is, but you're not going to like it.
What is that?
What do you mean?
Oh, have you got it?
Yeah, I do.
Show us.
War of the Roses, as it's also known as in here, by the one, the only RPG pundit.
Okay.
And I have made my opinions of him very well known. It is an attempt of at least making you go through the entire period of the English Civil War. However, you are bystanders in all of this. You are not going to be participating in this. If you are participating in anything, it is because there are events that are going to be taking place. Whether or not you want it to take place, you cannot influence it. Everything's lined out. You are playing in just Pendragon, the grand campaign, but in OSR. It's... What I have used this for is that I have just opened it up and gone, right, I just need to bastardize, strip out, and cannibalize whatever it is that I need or want.
So you haven't got the opportunity, you don't get the opportunity to try and murder Cromwell?
I have, let me go back in here.
The War of the Roses, not Cromwell's Revolution.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the War of the Roses?
He's referring to Cromwell's Revolution.
Oh, that one. No, I've got the one I've got here is the War of the Roses.
Right. Okay. All right.
It's not
the English Civil War was 160 years after.
Okay. No, this is based on the 15th century of England.
Okay. Yeah. What King Eric was asking about was early 17th century, 1642, 1649, that period.
I don't think that there actually is a lot of love for that period. I mean, mind you, I got into touch with the pundit because I wanted to do Kingdom Come Deliverance, but because I wanted to have the Jan Hussites, the Jan Hussites, he basically stated that no, they cannot have any magic, or they cannot be supported by any powers because they've turned their back onto the establishment. It's like, well, that is just silly. So that's the only one that I've got. I don't have the 17th century, but I don't think there's a lot of games that focuses on that period.
No.
Aside from if you were to pull out Warhammer Fantasy, because that's the only one that I can think of that actually has that pseudo Renaissance and medieval clashed in together, but you're not going to be getting the specific UK Civil War that you're referring to.
I mean, I say, I would only want to play in a game like that because I would love the opportunity to try and murder Cromwell and change the course of history. I think Cromwell was a horrible individual. Anyway, that's my opinion.
I have an opinion shared by many.
Yes. Sorry to hear that, Halakar. I'm hoping to come to Clericon again this year, and if you do run a game of Boot Hill, you're going to run Star Frontiers. Oh, I thought I was going to say if you're going to run Boot Hill, I would certainly play it. But Star Frontiers isn't going to be my thing, really. But we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. But hopefully you'll be able to make it. Right, okay. RTO means return to office. Okay. Yeah, I know that sort of thing is happening. I mean, from a selfish perspective, my shop needs that sort of thing to happen to get the footfall back again. But I can understand how it would piss people off who are the workers who are called back in. But we're not going to get into that sort of thing anyway. You will go, but it'll probably be all on the credit card. Okay. Yeah, well, hopefully it's not too painful.
No.
I'm still debating if I'm going to be able to go or not. I've got the vacation time right around there, and that's fine. But man, I've got every penny I make tied up in Heroic now.
Right. Okay, that's understandable as well. And again, I fully intend. If you do go, I intend to keep a slot open to have a chance to play one of your games.
Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you.
Last year,
I wouldn't know if I was going to run a game again, though.
Oh, right, okay. But last year, I just filled up every slot. I booked myself into every slot.
Well, if you do, and I'm coming, I'm also interested.
There you go.
We'll see, guys. It's all going to come down to finances, really.
Yeah. Good night, Squirrel Hermit. Good night.
Night, Squirrel. You're an awesome dude.
Very much so.
Very much so. Yeah. Squirrel is one of the most generous people on this
insanely planet. So.
Yes. If you know, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're talking about the possibility of going to Clericon. We, myself and Iman and a few others from Blighty are heading off to Chaosium Con at the end of May. We won't be going to UK Games Expo this year. And they have just released the table bookings. And after the stream finishes, I will be checking that out. I didn't check today because I was at work. And I'm at work tomorrow. But I'll check out the table bookings, and I'll let people know if there's anything that catches my interest and flag up games that I think might be good for the four of us. That's assuming we all four of us want to play together. Assuming Mike doesn't want to kill us all by that point. He probably will.
What do you mean?
Well, he's driving us down there, isn't he? We're all meeting at my house.
Oh, that's what you mean, right? Of course.
To answer King Eric, Clericon is in the same place every year. It's in, it's just next to Georgetown, which is just west of Toronto. Like, it's practically a suburb of Toronto. It's in a town called what the hell's the name of that town?
Glen Williams.
Glen Williams, thank you. And it's played at the church. And it's really fun. And it's really nice. And it's a good time. And for you, Mike, I've been looking at Airbnbs in the area. And given how much the hotel cost, which was like $250 a night, which is insane. A house would wind up costing everybody, if we split it like between 5 people, I think for the one house I found, which had great reviews, was like cost us like $150 each a night, which is a lot cheaper than that hotel. Just saying.
Sounds like that plan.
So Slan, We'll do the road trip again.
Yeah, I know they've just released the Keeper's Guide for Gaslight, but at the moment I've only found it on the Chaosium site in terms of British availability.
Anyway, I am gonna have to head off now.
All right, cheers, Sax.
No worries. Cheers,
Right.
Axe.
Cheers.
Bye,
Take care.
Yes.
All right, bye.
I thought you were eating out of a dog bowl there.
No, it's a metal bowl.
It looks like our dog bowl. Our dog has got a bowl just like that.
Well, why don't you go fuck yourself?
I will do after the stream.
Oh, fair enough.
Yes, but not right now.
I usually used to eat after your stream, but because you're still 1 hour ahead and you haven't, or 1 hour behind, you haven't fallen ahead yet. It's my supper time now.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
The thing about ordering from the Chaosium site is I did a bit of work about a month ago for the school where my wife works. I basically provided them with some quiz questions for a quiz night they were going to be running, and they gave me an Amazon voucher to say thank you, and that's what I was planning to spend on the book. So as soon as it appears on Amazon, I will buy it because I'm using that voucher to buy it.
I have the PDFs. They sent me a review copy.
I don't mind PDFs for scenarios, but for rule books, I don't like PDFs. I like to hold a rule book in my hand and read and digest with the rule book in my hand.
That's fair. I feel bad now that I shat all over that guy's video, but fuck, he was annoying.
There are a number of games on there that I would like to try because I have different gaming preferences. But certainly, Dragonbane it interests me. I have thought about that one for a while. I like everything I've seen from Free League. So,
Dragonbane's amazing. But again, it's BRP with the D20.
I don't have room for a new game in my weekly schedule at the moment, so it's not worth me buying a new game at the moment.
Well, I could end Codex Albana if you like, and then we could start a Dragonbane campaign.
No. Oh, it's just the two of us now. No. I like Codex Albana as well. I like I like where my character's going in Codex Albana.
Finally.
Oh. He might just be a bit of a ticking time bomb now.
Indeed.
Indeed. He might just be a bit of a ticking time bomb.
It's funny, if I know the book, I can find stuff faster using the physical book than I can a PDF.
Same.
Like the Marvel Superheroes Blue Book there, the rule book. Jesus Christ, dude. I'm just like, I know what picture is near what I need, so I just go, oh, there we are, and I'm good to go.
I was the same with the old first edition AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide. I wasn't bothered by the fact that the index was crap. I'd associate everything with pictures. I'd flick through and know where the pictures were in relation to which table and what have you.
That's fair.
That's Iman and his connection. Andy says, speaking of Codex, 3rd of May is the next session, as agreed on Saturday. Have we all
agreed on this? It's locked in? Good. Thank you. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. 3rd of May. I'm fine for the 3rd of May. I've said all along.
Okay, John, we get it.
I'm easy. Just fit in my two.
No, you're not. You're not easy. You're one of the reasons why we can never move the game to an alternate Saturday just to make everybody else happy, because you have your MERP game. Ta-da-ta-da. So that doesn't make you easy. That makes you easy based on 2 days of a month.
Yeah, but I don't change. That's the thing.
Yes, we know. We've seen you roleplay.
Yeah. But I'm predictable in that my schedule is very predictable.
Yeah, that's fair.
Things won't crop up and get in the way. Very rarely. Very, very rarely. So in that way, I'm easy. But yes, I do. I have a fortnightly MERP game, but we knew that at the start. So anyway, I think the stream is drawing to a bit of a conclusion. So
I concur.
Yes, and I've quite enjoyed tonight's stream. Something
Good.
different. I know you didn't like the video that I played.
He was just cringy.
I thought he was all right. I thought he was
Yeah, well, that's because you're cringy.
Well,
okay. What's that, Iman?
he was cringy as fuck.
Okay.
He's the kind of guy who clearly would think dad jokes and puns are the height of comedy.
They are.
They are not.
He wasn't.
They are.
He wasn't organically funny. He was trying to be funny.
Yes, there were moments. There were moments when he was trying to be funny and failed. But what he was saying, I think, about the games, I think was fine.
Yeah, but fuck me. He has more subs than me, so he's doing something right, and I'm doing something wrong. So fuck it. Who am I to judge?
And you have more subs than me?
All my negative back.
It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It's clearly a different audience that he's targeting.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Anyway, I'm going to get off because I have work tomorrow. As I said last few weeks, I am struggling to go with the 3 hours on a Wednesday and finish at midnight because I'm just knackered. I feel better today, but I've been a little bit up and down with my energy levels recently, taking tablets to try and help. But anyway, I'm gonna get off. There's a bed to go to. So thank you, fellas, for entertaining my silly ideas of having a video to watch and having a chat. Thank you, chat, for engaging. And I will be streaming on Friday. I haven't decided what to do just yet because we finished that Call of Cthulhu adventure, and we need to
2 hours since I asked you.
I know. I might run a game of some sort. We'll see who's free. But I'll have to think about that tomorrow night. Anyway, right. Good night, all. I'm going to get off. See ya.
All.
Bye now.